Today on Nightmare Echoes, Jesse's back to cover Damien Leonie's Terrifier 2 and try to answer the following questions. What's going on during the Clown Cafe scene? What scene did David Howard Thornton save? And who can see the little pale girl and why? Over the next 2 weeks in the podcast, we have 4 episodes instead of 2 for the Halloween season, and we start that with Cloverfield. But for now, Terrifier 2. Hello, Insomniacs, and welcome back to Nightmare Echoes. I'm your host, Elazar. I'm joined again by co-host Jesse. Jesse, how's it going?
Happy.
Yes, and speaking of happy, we have a movie about a happy clown who's returning for their sequel in Terrifier 2.
And man, what a difference one movie makes.
Yeah, I would say the first one was just, let's just kill people in the goriest way possible. And this one's like, hey, let's add some story, let's add some lore.
Yeah.
Let's add some badass characters, some really creepy little girl.
I read that part of it was in response to people complaining about lack of character development in the first one. Man, they listened.
Well, they did listen.
They really listened.
So we're talking about improvements. I also think they listened to that boneless world theory you talked about. Because here we hear an arm bone break. We see some skulls. I think there's some example. We see a spine exposed, I think. If the world didn't have bones before, it definitely has them this time.
They still seem to be remarkably easy to...
I think he's supernatural at this point, though.
Well, that's fair.
Yeah. But written and directed and special effects by Damien Leonie. He did the commentary for it, which I think was awesome. He's like, well, directors don't like to tell you everything they intended and the real meaning behind everything, but I'll do that. So
yes.
All right. I'm like, oh, well, thank you. Because I was like, I got to see part 3 because I have to know what this meant. And then he tells you what it meant in the commentary. So I'll try to do my best to talk about some of that where I can. But it's starring Lauren Lavera as Sienna. She's this amazing character. I like her a lot. David Howard Thornton comes back as Art the Clown. This time it had a budget of $250,000 and made a box office earnings of $15.7 million.
Man, sooner or later, they're going to start having to pay David Howard Thornton quite a bit because this movie, this series would not work without him.
I just heard he was hired to be in the Steamboat Willie horror film, now that that's in the public domain. And so he's going to be playing the killer. I believe
that is fascinating.
As he's going to be a Mickey Mouse character, which is perfect. He's already dressed in black and white. Let's just put some ears on him.
Man, the public domain Disney stuff. This is going to be a wild ride the next 20 or 30 years. That's going to come into the public domain.
Have you seen some of the others? We got Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Part 2 already came out. So fans had a lot of criticisms about part 1 not being amazing. So they listened to the fans and they made part 2 way better.
Awesome.
But it's going to expand this whole universe. Where we got one, there's a Bambi trailer out there that shows Bambi like charging after a car and flipping it over.
But if they had done it in the original animation style, though...
Oh, sure. But this is all going to be a shared universe. So they have, I think there's going to be a Pinocchio one, and there's just going to be this shared universe of all this like public domain property, and it's going to come...
Pinocchio's already public domain? No.
I think so. I think there's already a horror movie on him, actually.
Really?
Well, we could take a second to...
Did the laws get changed? Because, I mean, he's way after Steamboat Willie.
The public domain includes the works that are not protected by intellectual property, such as images and sounds. Yeah. The works published before 1923 are generally in public domain.
Okay, yeah. So they're talking about the folktale, not the Disney movie.
Of course. Right. That's how they're getting away with a lot of these things.
Yeah, okay.
All right, so back to Terrifier 2.
Back to that.
So we get the movie opening up, and we have a mix of the events from the first movie, where Art is about to be autopsied when he kills himself at the end of part 1, and then he ends up in a coroner's office. But supernatural stuff happens, and all of a sudden he comes back to life. And at the end of that movie, we're like, wait, he was supernatural? Like, that didn't make any sense.
And maybe he wasn't until then.
Yeah, maybe not. And so he's killing the coroner. The coroner's trying to get himself to call 911. He does, but he can't talk because he's choking his own blood. Art uses that blood to draw art on the mirror. And all these events are apparently happening that night a year ago from where we're at. Because in that movie, we had the interview with Victoria where her face was all messed up. And she hurt the interviewer, I think her name was Monica, afterwards because Monica was talking about her horribly. And she mutilated her face. So that takes place a year afterwards. So we're getting those same events We're seeing what Art was doing a year ago after killing the coroner and writing Art on the mirror, which is how the world knows his name is Art the Clown, even though a lot of people call him the Miles County Clown. And we see that he is walking, he's all bloody because he just killed a bunch of people in the first movie. And the director wanted a way for this clown to go through this transformation and be clean again. He just had the thought, well, why don't he just go wash his clothes?
Yeah.
So we go to this laundromat, and I think it's amazing.
It's very reasonable for supernatural clown murder to just go to the laundromat. Yeah.
When he's in there, there's this guy that's just sleeping. And when he's naked, besides his face paint, he sees a little girl that appears there who is credited as the Little Pale Girl.
See, and I was just calling her the Clownette, but...
Yeah, okay. I thought it was crapped her pants right in the beginning, but it was supposed to be some magical goop.
I guess,
According to the director, that was her way of saying hello. Like, I don't know, it was weird.
I thought it was a way to demonstrate, although it was already kind of obvious, that she was as supernatural and evil as he was.
Right. Then he did his job. That's what he was trying to get right off the bat.
And I was wondering right there, like, he seemed pretty effective already. Does he really need an invisible assistant? Like, what is she going to do for him? And to be honest, she didn't really do that much. She did a little.
I think she distracted some people, scared some people when they needed to be scared.
She did a little.
Yeah. So then, instead of paying for a dryer, he wrings out his clothes right there, then mops up the water like a good little clown.
Yeah.
We see that the mop handle...
civic-minded.
Yeah. We see the mop handle is broken in half. I was like, that's a weird detail, until he walks out with his bag of tricks that he has. We see that the other half of the mop handle is inside the sleeping guy's head. He woke up, he only saw Art, he couldn't see the little girl that Art was playing patty cake with.
I assume, in general, most people can't see the little girl, and that leads to later observations, which will be made at the time that is appropriate.
And as he's leaving the laundromat, we get the title card, Damien Leonie's Terrifier 2. Then we cut to my favorite edition of this film, which is Lauren Vieira as Sienna. She was 27 at the time of filming this, even though she's playing a 17-year-old, I think.
Well, I think that's standard.
Yeah. She really enjoys costume design, and she's working on this costume. She's working on a bracer. We see shoulder pads with spikes, and we see these white wings that she gives the tips a spray of gold in. We see the sword is there on the table, which we eventually learn is a gift from her deceased father.
The sword is a really cool gimmick, by the way. And I love the whole sort of angel costume thing, setting up her role in the story. It's really neat.
It's pretty cool, yeah. I like it. I think it's a pretty badass character. In the kitchen, we have Sienna's mom, whose name is Barbara. She's a customer service agent working from home and trying to cook for her kids. We get Jonathan, her little brother, who's at the table, and he's telling the family that he wants to dress up as the Miles County Clown. The mom doesn't get the reference, but then Sienna explains to her that he's trying to dress up as a serial killer. And I know movies do this all the time where they have people dressing up as like serial killers in their movies from their universe, but I feel like no one does this in real life.
I wouldn't say no one.
Do you think some people do?
I think it's been done.
Okay.
Yeah.
The mother's asking what Sienna's Halloween plans are. The mother's worried about someone's going to be driving while they're drunk, and Sienna tells her, don't worry, I'm getting an Uber. Then her mother says, oh, she's just getting an Uber so that she can just get shit-faced, but Sienna tells her mother she doesn't drink, and her mother doesn't know whether or not to trust her.
Her mother seems to not at all trust her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sienna's putting up the dishes, and she opens up one of the cabinets, and Jonathan's cereal box falls everywhere. As they're cleaning it up, we cut to Jonathan in his room, who's got the Art the Clown costume. He's reading about articles of Tara and Don's deaths. Sienna's mother thinks that Jonathan is going through a phase after the loss of his father, but Sienna herself thinks that there's more wrong with him. Later, she's working with her costume. When he comes in asking for super glue to repair his costume, she's not happy that he's still wearing it, but he tells her that he won't wear the makeup. Then he shares that he's afraid that Miles County Clown is still alive out there, and she thinks maybe that's why he's trying to dress like the clown, so that if the clown saw him, the clown wouldn't hurt him.
That is an interesting conclusion.
Yeah. We have Sienna in bed, and she's flipping through some channels. We get a song for someone to invite them to the Clown Cafe. She keeps falling asleep, and when she eventually does, listening to this jingle, she enters a dream/vision quest state, according to the director, where we get the Clown Cafe host playing the guitar and singing the jingle. The clown host is played by Leah Voci.
Was it a guitar or was it a banjo or something?
Okay, maybe it was a banjo. Okay. Leah Voci, who plays the Clown Cafe host, is a YouTube gamer, cosplayer. I've seen interviews with her. The song talks about how the Clown Cafe is Meals on Wheels and describes the food as being disgusting, not very good, and generally just a little funny.
Yeah.
We see Sienna is there amongst all these adults that are dressed like little kids. They're acting like they're little kids.
I got the impression that they were somehow under Art's sway.
That makes sense.
Which it does make sense. It also makes sense with, we've seen at least, well, we've technically seen 2 of his victims that seem to have been converted to being like him somehow, right?
Victoria and the little girl.
And the little girl, right. So maybe that might be maybe what they're implying there.
Right. So we see Sienna is on the playscape. She's asleep but sitting up. She's wearing overalls, like a colorful long sleeve shirt, and her hair is put up in a gravity-defying pigtail way, where they kind of go straight out to the sides, but in a curvy way.
Like a Pippi Longstocking.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. She wakes up. She sees that there's a picture of Art the Clown on a mural on the wall where he's playing Ring Around the Rosies with some kids. We see that a commercial for Art Krispies is being filmed, and on the picture of the cereal box, we see razor blades can be found inside, and there's also more surprises in every box.
There's razor blades and insects,
Yeah, it's gross. It is gross. Then there's a homeless man and a nun trying to flag people down who are there at the cafe eating, telling them that they can't forget to feed the homeless man.
This feels a lot like a dream, a real dream.
It does feel like a dream. Damien Leonie said that this was the force of good sending her on a quest to see if she was willing to fight Art, because she does stand up to him and goes to find the weapon in the cereal box. That it proved to the force of good that she's willing to fight, and that's why the force of good is willing to protect her later in the movie.
Okay, well, that wasn't obvious.
Not at all.
What I thought was going on, especially after what happens when she wakes up, is I thought this was a Freddy Krueger thing, where he was stalking her in her dreams before stalking her in real life.
I'm with you there. I thought this was a dream, and it was like hey, I'm coming after you. I'm going to tease you in your dream first before I come after you in real life. Yeah, I didn't get any of that. But the host introduces Art the Clown. He pops out on a tricycle. He comes over with his bag of tricks and hands everybody lollipops and candy apples, and he gives Sienna a box. In that box is a heart that has worms all over it. It starts bleeding so much.
Like a real human heart, to be clear.
Yes, right. Yes, thank you. She has to get rid of the box because it's just so bloody. And then Art comes out with an Uzi. She jumps further in the landscape. She's only hitting the leg with a bullet when all the other adults die. She's crawling away. He then runs out of bullets, so he goes to get a flamethrower and ignites the host on fire, but she still plays that banjo while she's on fire.
Now, because the show must go on. That's a true professional.
And then Sienna crawls over towards the cereal commercial. She grabs the box. She's hurting herself, obviously, when she's putting her hands there because it's full of razor blades. And my brain is thinking, pour it out.
Yeah, really?
But the box is somehow magical because she reaches in. She's able to pull out the sword that her dad gave her just in time to stop the flamethrower.
Which, by the way, is much longer than the box.
Wait, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. It's magical, right?
Right, yeah.
It's bigger on the inside.
It's bigger on the inside.
She pulls it out. The fire doesn't engulf her in the dream, but is shot into reality and sets her wings on fire in her room.
In the dream, it reflects the fire back at him.
Right.
And then when she wakes up, it seems to have reflected from her to actually hit the wings. Yeah.
Right. She gets up and she starts trying to beat the fire with like a towel or something.
That's what everybody seems to do, is think you can beat fire into submission.
And if anybody would like to hear our discussion on that, it's episode 25. You can't beat up fire. But she tries anyway.
But just public service announcement, throw a wet blanket on it or stand on it and smother it. Don't try to kick it or punch it.
Yeah. But luckily, her mother, Barbara, knows more about fire, gets a fire extinguisher to put it out, which is wonderful.
She's a fire expert.
Yes. Good. Of course, Barbara chews out Sienna like any good parent would do. She thinks Sienna fell asleep with her candles lit, but Sienna claims that she did not. Her mother naturally wouldn't believe her. She does bring out about the sword her dad brought her, and Barbara does feel sad for her, asking if it can be repaired. And she tells her just the thing, nothing happened to the sword. It wasn't damaged at all.
Which is the first hint we get that there is something actually supernatural about the sword. Although there's more, I guess there were more hints before, but this is the first time we see in the real world some kind of evidence that it really is.
Yeah, apparently when she picks it up from the ash, there is a hidden glint in there that's supposed to be some message, according to the director. He said he made it really subtle. He didn't want to make it too over the top.
Which is immediately made me wonder, where did her dad get that sword?
Yeah.
I hope it turns out that he drew it on a piece of paper and then pulled it off the page or something. That would be really cool.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, the director, he goes into it later in the commentary saying that the dad had visions that this evil was going to come.
Well, and clearly,
the force of good gave him these visions so he was able to acquire the sword because he knew that his daughter would need it to survive later. But because the force of good was in him, the force of evil attacked him, somehow possessed his brain. Those battled together, which formed the tumor in his head, which drove him crazy. He became abusive towards the end of his marriage and killed himself.
I mean, I think that was more or less what I would have assumed. Maybe not exactly, but to me, it sets up for a prequel later on, because I would like to see this epic battle that he goes through to acquire this mysterious sword and everything.
It'd be more of a psychological movie, yeah.
But I mean, it works well as a prequel because we know how important the sword is later.
Yes.
So, like, it's set up to the point that we know that this is a big thing for him to have to accomplish.
I like that. That's pretty cool. So Barbara says she's happy that the sword is fine. She's more worried about all her clothes that got burnt. But she tells her to go to bed. We cut to the little pale girl at the hideout while Art is making weapons. And this is the same scene from the first movie where Art is making weapons and he's looking at the TV where Victoria is being interviewed. The little pale girl is there trying to watch the TV, but it's not plugged in because the wire's frayed, but it works anyway. And this is where Art kicks the TV, and it's the same kick he delivered in the first movie. When we were watching it, we couldn't perceive that the pale girl was sitting there because we can't see the pale girl.
That is neat.
Yeah.
That is neat.
I thought it was pretty cool. We see Jonathan at school. There's 2 kids there that call him over because there's a dead possum. They also call over a little girl, even though he doesn't want them to, named Stephanie. They tell her that a cat just gave kittens behind the dumpster and that she should come look. And when she looks, they open the possum's body and we see that there's maggots inside and all his intestines are there. So she runs off screaming, which gets the attention of the principal, played by Felissa Rose, who is a horror icon who's been in 150 horror films, such as Sleepaway Camp, Return to Sleepaway Camp, Silent Night, Zombie Night, Camp Dread, Death House, Victor Crowley, and Bloody Summer Camp, just to name a few. Which I was like, oh, that's Felissa Rose.
I was not
I got
aware.
excited. Yeah.
I think I did see it. I think I saw Sleepaway Camp, or at least part of it.
Okay. I know we talked about it before.
Have we? Yeah.
For a little bit. Then we're in class. They're all taking a quiz. Jonathan is looking over at Stephanie because he feels bad for her. This is supposed to show us that he's a good kid, but the teacher misinterprets that as him trying to look on somebody else's paper during the quiz. But he's already done with this quiz. He asks the teacher if he can be excused, so he gets the hall pass to go out. And of course, while being out there, he sees Art the Clown and the little pale girl playing with the dead possum's body.
And this is interesting because I feel like we've established that people can't see the little girl, and he can, which I have to think must be some inherited power from the dad, right?
I think so. They have some kind of ability to see this because I think Sienna can too.
Yeah.
And so they scare him. He doesn't run right away until they notice him. They throw the possum at him. He flees the scene because he's scared. He gets caught by a teacher, but he still runs past. And because he had blood all over him, when the teacher finds the possum, he's blamed for it.
Which, of course, was, I'm sure, their intention.
Right. We have a scene where Sienna's at lunch, and we get to meet her 2 friends, Allie and Brooke. Brooke goes on to talk about the interview that happened and how the interviewer was mold. Sienna seems to get sick and runs off, and when they're asking if she's okay, she tells them about the fire that happened, that everybody's safe, but they all could have died if her mother didn't come in and put out the fire. We have a scene here where the police are dropping off Jonathan home. Barbara doesn't let him get a word in. He's trying to explain what happened. She's like, just go to your room. I don't want to hear it. And this is intercut with Sienna and Allie at a costume store called Abracadabra looking for wings. She's trying to tell her friend that she had the dream and it caused the fire. But Allie's trying to tell her, can it be possible that the fire started and this caused you to have a dream about fire to try to warn you to wake up, which seems more likely to her. And she says it's possible, but that still doesn't explain how the fire started.
Although they think they explain that too because her mom had said she must have left the candles
Right,
burning.
exactly. So in Abracadabra, Sienna's unhappy that she would have to resort to buying store-bought wings. Allie asks, did you tell your mother where we were going for Halloween? And she tells her which house so they can all lie equally to their parents.
Right.
So she gets a call. As Allie's walking out to talk to her mom, she bumps into Art the Clown, and she apologizes, and Art's very friendly, saying, oh, go ahead. No big deal, without talking, because he's
obviously
a mime. Sienna sees Art the Clown. It scares her. She goes out to buy a bracelet, or it's either that or a neck, like a tie that goes around her neck kind of thing.
It's weird because it does seem like she's in this in-between state of, on a rational level, thinking it must be somebody else dressed like him.
Yes.
But at a more visceral level, she seems to be somehow aware that the real him, she just can't rationally justify that to herself.
Right. So she's scared. She's obviously confused when she goes to the register. She doesn't even realize she has the wings on anymore. And Ricky's like, I'm going to have to ring those up too. Ricky's the cashier. She hands him the wings. He tells her the price, and she's like, oh no, I left my bag downstairs. She looks too terrified, and in this jump scare, Art just drops the bag there on the counter for her, which she jumps. I might have jumped a little bit. And then...
He's so helpful.
He is helpful. And then he goes over, and in a comical scene, he's standing right by these sunglasses. The director brought in all these sunglasses, like this box full of gimmick toys that would work. And he said they were such a huge hit just from the trailer that before the movie even came out, people already had tattoos of Art the Clown wearing these sunglasses on their body, which he was shocked by. He's like, I had no idea that it would be that much of a hit. Interestingly, though, her bag was a continuity error. Damien was like, oh my gosh, she needs the bag here to pay for it. Why would she have left it downstairs? And David, who plays Art the Clown, goes, well, why don't I just bring it up to her? He goes, that's perfect. Yeah. And we can use it as a jump scare. Yep. So they filmed it, and it actually worked, which I think is wonderful. As she's being rung up, Art gets one of those little blowers, like the blower things, and Ricky's like, hey, if you're going to put it in your mouth, you have to pay for it. Ricky wants to give her a bigger bag, and she's like, no, I'm fine. She's like, oh, it's no trouble. It's just right over here. And he doesn't understand that she's in distress, so he goes to get this bag. Art comes over with this little honky horn, puts it right by her ear, and she's like, please don't. And he goes, like just honks it by her.
So dastardly. Such a devious villain.
Right, I know. It's just too funny. As she gets the bag, she runs out. I noticed that she passes a Zoltar machine from the movie Big. Did you see it?
I didn't.
I thought it was pretty cool.
That's not the first time that reference has been used in a movie, I don't think.
No, but I love it. I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Then Art goes to the door, turns on the close sign, returns to the counter to purchase the horn. As the cashier rings it up, he gets out of his bag and starts pulling out like one coin at a time. The director said he wanted it to be like an old lady that everybody's waiting for at the cashier, pulling out a nickel at a time, trying to pay $10.
Except he was doing more than that, right? He was also pulling out every
weapon and
increasingly
dangerous
horrible
items.
Weapon. Yeah.
Yeah. Ricky says he's fed up. He's going to call the cops. Art finally gets all the money out, but then Ricky says, didn't you hear me? Even though he's got the bills out. Then he grabs Ricky and with an empty beer bottle smashes it over his head. We cut back and forth to Art and Ricky and Sienna and Allie talking about the clown that they saw. Ricky gets the broken beer bottle in his eye before getting a meat cleaver to his head, and he had to beat it a couple of times to smash it. So this is the first time I was like, hey, there's actual bones in these bodies.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Still relatively easy to cut through. But again, like you said,
he's supernatural
strength. Yeah.
Yeah. At home, Sienna asks what Jonathan is doing there. He tells her that he saw the Mouse County clown at school. He does flip through his father's sketchbook, which upsets Sienna because she's been looking for this book and it's there. But then he shows her all these articles that their dad had collected on the missing girl and other things that had happened in the previous events. And Sienna asks him if he put those in the sketchbook, and he says he did not.
And
we see
he's
pictures.
Literally got a drawing of Art the Clown there, which is
yeah, he does. Right, he saw him, and he also has a drawing of Don and Mike and one of the pizza guys from the first movie.
And man, the boy, what's his name?
Jonathan.
Jonathan, yeah. He is such a bad actor. I'm sorry.
Oh, is he?
I just.
Okay.
The other acting, like Sienna, is fantastic.
She is fantastic.
And the mom is also pretty good, but man, Jonathan, every time he talked, I'm like,
Okay.
But that's just my opinion.
Okay. He believes that Sienna somehow connected to it because even though she based the costume off the drawing, she does look like she's gotten it perfectly. And because he also has pictures, articles of the things that Art the Clown has done, he thinks that it was always meant to be connected to them. We get this funny scene where Art is still in Abracadabra when this mom and a kid come up and they find that the store is closed, and he's standing there with the head in front of him like he's a statue. And the mom is like, yeah, that's cool, sweetie, but the kid thinks it's really cool looking.
Yeah.
And Art smiles at the kid, but the mom doesn't notice, and it's really funny. Downstairs, Sienna tries to tell Barbara that she didn't believe that Jonathan would do that. Barbara's confused because Sienna was just worried about Jonathan. The doorbell rings. It's trick-or-treaters, so Barbara sends Sienna to go get it. As she's walking, she opens the door, and we cut to Allie opening her door, which confused me the first time. I guess the first time watching it, they're both dark-haired actresses. They open the door, even though they don't look alike. It confused me for a moment. Like, wait, that's not the same door. It also opened on the wrong side.
Yeah, it is confusing.
Yeah.
So, somewhere around here, there was a point where I don't even remember where it was, but at some point we get to the point where Sienna's trying to explain what's going on. I don't remember whether it's to her mother or whatever, and we have this obligatory "I'm not crazy" scene, right? Like, which it's like, what could you say that could make you sound crazier than "I'm not crazy"? Right? Like,
right. I think it was to Allie. I think it was in the store earlier. But yeah.
Oh, was that where it was?
Yeah. But yeah, you're right. She does this, "I'm not crazy," and everybody looks at her like, oh no, who's this crazy person?
Who's this crazy person? Yeah, exactly.
It is really good. Outside of Allie's house, she's handing out candy to the kids. We see the van is across the street, and inside the van is a little pale girl.
With glowing eyes, even.
Yeah. Allie walks back inside, the doorbell rings, and it's Art. She recognizes him from the store, and he pulls out his bag of tricks up like he's trying to receive candy, and she's got this hard rule of, oh, I'm not going to give candy to an adult. And I'm really curious because, I mean, if someone rang my door and they were standing there, I know the quickest way to get rid of them would be to give them candy. Because I'm not going to sit there and argue with somebody over, oh, I bought candy for kids.
Yeah.
If they showed up, I would still just give them the candy and then hopefully they would leave.
I wonder if it's one of these, like, she actually does know it's him. You know what I mean? Like, at some level, and it's just her inherent battle versus evil kind of thing, right? She doesn't want to give him anything.
Could be. I know that when she finally gives in and gives him candy, she kind of throws it at him instead of putting it in the bag, which he lowers the bag in disappointment, which gets it to where she can look in and she sees all these bloody weapons, which is when she really gets scared. So she closes the door, looks out the window, and she does look terrified.
And man, just throughout this whole thing, the music is so good.
Yeah.
This movie.
I do like the music.
Such good music.
Allie tries to call Sienna, but seems to have left her phone in her room. Sienna is also handing out candy at the same time. Sienna comes in watching the news, and the newscaster is talking about Victoria's victim. Somewhere it says something like, Victoria's being released from the hospital, and then the newscaster looks at Sienna and says, like you, Sienna, which gets her attention. And it's like, what? Yeah, I mean, that was just so weird. She goes upstairs and takes some Xanax. She lays down to clear her head. And she looks up and sees pictures of herself, very little, wearing wings, which motivates her to get up and get ready, fix those wings. Interesting enough, those are pictures of the real actress as a little girl who was obsessed with wings. She told Damien, I think I have pictures of myself as a little kid wearing wings. And he's like, we could totally use that. So they brought them in, and I think it was just really convenient.
That's awesome.
That it really worked out. We have a scene of her showering, her painting the tips of these new wings gold. She puts on this costume. They did this like war paint on her face, braided her hair in this kind of tribal-like way.
She looked awesome.
She looked awesome. Yeah, the director wanted to do the costume, obviously, but I think it was the people that in the end had to build the costume. They had a lot of trouble getting the costume to be built. They hired a company. They didn't do a good job. They had to do it themselves.
Oh, no.
But the people internally that like worked on her makeup and stuff, they're the ones that came with the idea of putting on her war paint and doing the braids, because that was never in the script.
It's very cool.
It's very cool.
And it's like the whole time she's getting ready to leave, I'm like, you're going to bring the sword, right? You're going to bring the sword, right?
Yeah, right. But yeah, Jonathan had asked her that for safety, and she said that she would get arrested walking down the street. And interestingly, I just read an article about a fellow nerd in UK who had a 4-inch sword from Zelda, the new Zelda games, had the Master Sword, and he got arrested.
That's pretty. Things are out of control.
He went up to cops to ask them a question, and instead of answering the question, they arrested him.
That's pretty messed up. I had a friend who we went to like Six Flags or something like that.
Yeah.
And he was just wearing a necklace, like a pendant thing, with just this small like image in the shape of like a knife. I mean, it's like 3/4 of an inch long or something, and only sculpted on one side, right? Like, and that was enough. They took it away from him, right? And said, "This is illegal. You can't have this." And
oh my gosh,
like what?
It's so stupid.
It really is.
So Allie's putting on her makeup. She hears something. She goes downstairs to investigate. There's broken glass, and we see a door that's broken there. I thought it was interesting because if you look on the other door, on the sliding glass door there's a little alarm panel thing, like a sensor, that should have gone off with glass breaking, but it didn't. What I learned from the commentary is that we were supposed to have a scene where Art scared her and broke through the glass to come in, but the glass broke during transport. And so the director's like, well, I guess he's already in the house then.
Well, hang on. There was someone in the house.
Yeah, Art came in the house.
So, well, no, but I mean, what's her name was already in the house.
Yes, but my alarm system will go off if, whether it's on or not, if it thinks it hears glass breaking. Like it happens.
Maybe they don't all work that way.
Maybe. Okay. I mean, unfortunately, my wife sneezed last month, and it thought it was the same sound as the glass shattering.
Wait, it's sound based?
Yeah.
Oh, that's terrible.
It is terrible because it also went off one time when my kids dumped a big giant Lego bucket out, and the sound of the Legos was close enough to glass breaking.
That's terrible. Anytime you watch a movie, anytime you drop a glass.
Well, if you drop a glass, sure.
One of these days, you're going to be watching something, and there's going to be a commercial.
It didn't go off during Smile, and she broke 2 glasses in Smile.
So it only gets set off by things that are not glass breaking.
No, if the real glass would break, it would go off.
How do you know?
Well, I'm not going to break my window to prove it, but that's the whole point. That's what it was designed to do.
Yeah, but it's hearing glass breaking from the movies and stuff, and it's not going off.
Oh my gosh! All right, you're here to drive me nuts.
I'm just speaking the truth.
I got you. All right. So for some reason, Art is getting a glass of water, and she doesn't run away. She waits until he notices that she's there to run away. And of course, instead of running outside the broken door, she runs upstairs to go get her cell phone. It doesn't take long for Art to catch up to her. He slices her eye before he starts to scalp her. This brutal scene, which was his intent, was the fans loved the upside down sawing in half of Dawn in the first movie.
Yeah.
That he wanted to top that, and this is that attempt.
He succeeded.
Oh, yeah, right. It took 4 days to film this because this whole thing was a lot of makeup and getting to each phase of the setup. They spent 4 whole days.
A lot of it seemed to be puppetry of some kind.
Towards the end.
Yeah, toward the end. Once there's not much left of her, yeah.
Right. So a lot of things happen, right? He scalps her, rips off one of her arms. They didn't use CGI to make the arm disappear. They used makeup and had the actress holding her arm in a really awkward way, and then used makeup to look like it was cut off at the elbow. Right. And it was a little painful, they said, but she made it work, which was pretty cool. That he was very proud that they were able to do it all practically.
Yeah.
Which is kind of crazy. But Art looks like he leaves her a little bit. He comes back. At some point, he rips open her back to expose her spine. He pours a thing of bleach all over her and then pours salt all over the wounds, which is horrible.
The part where he rips the arm in half is pretty, lengthwise, is quite something.
Yeah. It's pretty graphic.
A lot of other things. He does a lot of things.
Of course, she's screaming the whole time. Sienna's trying to call her on the phone, but of course she can't get to the phone because she's a little busy at the moment.
Right. Yep. It was very over the top. I was very impressed in the worst and darkest possible way.
Yeah.
It was very extreme. I have not seen a mutilation scene that extreme before. It may exist, but I haven't seen it.
Well, that's what he was going for.
Yeah.
So we cut in the middle of this torturing happening to Barbara, who's at home watching the iconic and yet public domain Night of the Living Dead, which, if you want to hear all about that, in episode 23, we talk about that because they forgot to file the copyright when they changed the movie title too many times. The moment anybody saw the movie, it was in the public domain. Which sucks.
Fascinating.
Yeah. And because we were watching this movie and Sienna's mother is named Barbara, I knew that we were going to hear it. And it is there in the background when Johnny says, "They're coming for you, Barbara." And we do hear it in the background, which is supposed to hint, I think, that Art is going to come for Barbara soon.
Yeah.
Which he does. Sienna comes down wearing the costume, and like any good mother is like, "What are you wearing? That is way too revealing." Of course, Sienna's like, "That's just how people dress nowadays, Mom. This is how people dress for Halloween." As she goes, Barbara does tell her that her dad would have loved her in that costume. Would have loved how she brought the costume to life. We cut to Allie's mother coming home and sees the candy bowl is full, and she calls up for Allie asking if she gave out any candy. She goes upstairs and she sees the horrific sight of Art, who's still playing with the body. She is freaking out, obviously, but then when Allie lifts up her head to show that she's still alive through all this pain, she screams even louder.
Yeah, which is amazing. It's interesting that she's so horrified she doesn't even, do anything.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I guess it depends on the person, but...
She just stayed still in fright while screaming.
Didn't she kind of run away, too? Didn't she just kind of turn around and, leave?
Did Allie's mother run? Maybe.
Or, I don't think she did anything. I mean,
yeah.
She didn't,
I think she stood there and screamed. And Art made this little miming it's a funny joke.
Yeah, gesture oh, I guess I made a boo-boo, right? That kind of...
The next we see of that, which there's a couple scenes between this, but just to wrap that up, is that trick-or-treaters are at Allie's house, and when they knock on the door, he's got Allie's mom's head severed there. He's carved it open so that he can use it as the candy bowl. And kids are like, "Why is it sticky?" And the mom's like, "It's just fake blood. Don't worry, it'll wash off."
Yeah. It's that, which is, I was like, man, Wow. Like,
Yeah.
this writer is sick, and I am impressed.
Yeah, and yeah, the writer-director, the makeup artist, Damien Leonie, he said that he doesn't know if anybody's ever done this trick. He can't remember anybody ever doing a human head as a candy bowl on Halloween.
Yeah,
but he's very proud of it.
That is something, all right.
Sienna and Brooke have arrived at the party, and Brooke is ready to get wasted. But Sienna is worried about Allie because she keeps texting her, and she's not responding. But she's still able to order a rum and Coke, and Brooke orders 2 shots. For some reason, instead of just doing the shots right there, they walk about 10 feet away, and I swear they lose a third of the shot, like bumping into people to walk. Just drink it at the bar.
I know, really.
You're going to get your alcohol. You're paying for this alcohol. You're not going to get it all.
Let me carry this across the street and go do an obstacle course. Then we'll drink it.
Then we'll drink, yeah. It's ridiculous.
It's a good way to stay sober so you can still drive home.
Then we meet Jeff, who is Brooke's boyfriend. He jumps in to start kissing Brooke right away, but he compliments Brooke on how she looks, and he also compliments Sienna on how good she looks. He's wearing a shirt that says, "Just the tip, I promise," which is awesome.
Which tells you all you need to know about that character.
Right, really. Exactly. It has a picture of a knife on it as well. Yeah. Brooke takes them all to the dance floor. Sienna doesn't want to get all messed up or all drunk.
Yeah, because she's a good girl, really, underneath it all.
Yeah. Jonathan is in Sienna's room holding the sword when Barbara comes in and tries to play nice, asking him if he just wants to watch a movie, and there's a bunch of leftover candy he can eat. She's trying to be good, even though she doesn't believe his side of the story. He tries to explain more about the sketchbook, and Barbara's just tired of hearing it and rips the sketchbook to pieces.
Yeah, she flips out, too. Like, dang.
That's hard if that's one of the only things they have left of their father that survived.
Really? Yeah. I was like, dang.
He tries to go pick up the pieces of paper, and he calls her a bitch, so she slaps him, tells him never to talk to her that way. He runs out of the house as she screams for him to get back there. At the party, Sienna is still dancing and drinking so much. Barbara is now drinking as well. She's crying. She hears something and goes to investigate. She sees that her car has been vandalized with toilet paper, pumpkin. I thought it was whipped cream, but apparently it's shaving cream, as they say later.
Yeah, I mean, either one. I think shaving cream is more commonly what's used for vandalism. I could be wrong.
Yeah, but it was like a pumpkin, so I thought it was like the whipped cream that would go on top of a pumpkin pie.
I see what you're saying.
But yeah, and in the shaving cream is the word bitch written in there. So It really seems like Jonathan did this.
And this is, once again, I think, art following the pattern of getting people in trouble for things.
Yeah.
This is not the first time he's done this.
Yeah, he's getting Jonathan in trouble left and right. It sucks. At the party, Sienna is acting high, not just drunk. Brooke sees how she's feeling. Sienna's saying that she's feeling good emotionally at the moment. And then Brooke confesses that she slipped a Molly into her drink. And Sienna calls her a bitch, but is laughing and smiling. But it could just be because she's high and she can't not laugh and smile.
Right,
because she's mad at her, but she can't genuinely express how mad she is at her.
And at this point, you're almost willing to be like, well, okay, that's over the line, but I can see how she's just trying to, loosen her up. It seems a bit far to go, but it's like you're so far wanting to give her the benefit of the doubt and say, she's trying to be a good friend. Okay, that was too much, but it's not badly intentioned, right? But it seems like later on, my opinion of her does not stay the same.
It gets a little worse. We see Jonathan finally stop running, and he sees the creepy van across from him, which honks at him. At first, he doesn't see anybody in it, and he sees the little pale girl, and her eyes are glowing yellow.
Oh, okay. They weren't glowing the first time I mentioned it. This is the one where they're glowing.
Okay. All right. Yeah. No big deal. He runs away. Sienna sees that she's missed 6 calls from her mom, and even though Brooke thinks it's a bad idea, she calls her back. Barbara tells her everything Jonathan did to the car. She's yelling that he's dead, he's dead. People shouldn't say that in a horror movie.
Why?
I'm just kidding, because he's going, because people are dying, but she doesn't know that.
Oh, okay.
You're like, he's dead. But then if he ends up dead, police are going to think you did it. Because you were just saying, you're threatening, like, I'm going to kill him.
Would they? Huh, okay. I see what you're saying. Okay, yeah.
I mean, it's sort of a joke.
I misinterpreted entirely.
But if she's like, I'm going to kill him, and then he winds up dead.
No, I just misinterpreted what you were saying before. Sorry.
Okay, you're good. Sienna tries to defend her brother that he wouldn't do that, and it's something that people do on Halloween all the time. And Barbara's like, are you drunk? She sobers up real quick. I thought we were talking about Jonathan. Yeah. Which is awesome. And eventually Sienna tells Barbara that she loves her, which seems to calm her down. Barbara tells her that she's sorry that she bothered her and for her to enjoy her party and to just be careful getting home.
Aw.
Right? Sienna goes back to Brooke, who does not want to waste the drugs that she gave to her. And Barbara starts to clean up the car. And when she swipes at the door to clean off the window, she gets a big shock as she realizes Art has been inside that car the whole time. He pulls out a gun, shoots her in the head. Blood flies backwards everywhere.
And that is an uncharacteristically sudden and painless way to kill someone for Art, which I can only explain by saying that in this case, she is not his main target.
Yeah, maybe.
Right? So all he wanted to do is get rid of her, get her out of the way so that he could move on to his main target. I don't know how else to explain such a quick thing.
I mean, he was kind of toying with her by making her think her son is just so evil beforehand.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if that was just so that she would call Sienna and talk about that, but
maybe.
But that, I guess that would be kind of a stretch, so
yeah.
Who knows?
At the party, Sienna starts seeing visions of the little pale girl. She starts freaking out, and everyone in the party is staring at her. Jonathan runs in to tell Mom about the van, but she is sitting at the dinner table. Her head is on her shoulders, but her face is mostly missing. Art comes in the kitchen holding a platter, ringing the dinner bell, and he's dressed up like a kitchen apron. Yeah, which Damien Leonie was like, yeah, I kind of want to dress him up when I could. In the first movie, he was wearing the skin of the woman, the cat lady. In this one, I thought it was easy to just put the apron on him. I like changing an outfit if it makes sense and it's not too far of a stretch. Mm-hmm. So that's why he did that. Jonathan runs upstairs and the little pale girl is laughing at him. Jonathan goes to Sienna's room and tries to get the sword, but is tackled by Art. Art seems to inject him with something using a massive 50cc syringe. But I'd like to point out that after he's done injecting it, the liquid is still at the same place it started at. So he didn't inject anything. We see Jeff driving. Jeff and Brooke are taking Sienna home. Sienna is pissed that Brooke would have given her a Molly when she was already on Xanax. And Brooke is saying that she had no way of knowing that.
What a bitch, though. What a bitch, right? Like, slipping her drugs and then blaming her for freaking out.
Yeah.
Oh my, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That is pretty messed up.
And on the way, Sienna gets a call from who she thinks is Jonathan. But we cut to Jonathan, who's passed out, and it's a little pale girl who is able to mimic Jonathan's voice perfectly, like the Terminator.
I was about to say, it seems like she's part android,
Yeah.
This ghost android clown.
Sienna tells them that she needs to go pick him up and he was abandoned by his friends, but Brooke thinks that it's Halloween and Jonathan is just pulling a prank on her. But Jeff, being a nice guy, says that it is only a couple miles away. He doesn't mind driving Sienna to this, what is it, a theme park?
I think amusement it's just park? A carnival or something. Yeah.
Carnival, thank you, yeah. As they get there, Sienna jumps out of the car to go look for him because he's not where he's supposed to be. And we get some backstory here where Brooke tells Jeff about what happened to their father, how he went crazy. He wrapped himself around a telephone pole, caught himself on fire, and was not able to escape that fire. And how he was kind of abusive towards the end because this brain tumor made him go crazy. In the park, Sienna is trying to call him. He's just texting back, although it's not him, to say that he's in the Terrifier, which is their haunted house.
And now we know where the name of the movies came from.
You're right. Back in the car, Jeff is making out with Brooke. When Jeff pulls out some cocaine, Brooke says that she's tried it once, she didn't like it, but it doesn't take much persuading for her to snort some anyway. We see...
Unsurprisingly.
Yeah. Brooke is too worried about Sienna to continue making out, so Jeff gets this, well, I'm going to go pee, which we see often in horror movies, and it never works out for the character. Friday the 13th, A New Beginning, and Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Both people get out of the car to go use the restroom, and then they're killed in this moment.
So if you're in a horror movie, never say I'll kill you and never pee.
I guess.
I think these are rules. We should make a list of rules for horror movies.
Right. Well, Scream does a good job of
That's true. That's already been done. You're right.
Yeah. He does come back for a jump scare, and when he jump scares her, she threatens to pour all of his Coke into the ashtray. And he's like, I'm sorry, don't do it. He's like, oh, you could snort it out of the ashtray if you want. That's so gross. Brooke notices that in the dust in the window is written just the tip. Jeff in the back has whipped it out to start peeing. And this was where Art comes out of nowhere and stabs him in the dick. But because it's Art, he doesn't just stab once. He continually, just repeatedly does it. Brooke moves over to the driver's seat and tries to drive away in the panic. She drops the keys. Art breaks the window. He tries to pull her out. She kicks at his face and runs off. We see that Jeff is still alive, even though he's been stabbed in the crotch like 10 times. Interestingly, the whole reason that Damien Leonie put the cocaine in the movie was because when she escaped through the car and Art was in the car, he was going to see the coke and do a line, and he doesn't know why he didn't film that. He's mad at himself because he forgot to film it.
Dang.
And the whole reason the coke was in the movie is pointless now.
Yeah.
He said. And the same with the cigarette. Like, he see Brooke is always smoking a cigarette. After he killed Brooke, he was supposed to pick up her cigarette and do a drag like he just had sex. And he forgot to film that too.
Dang. He needs to write things down more.
Yeah, maybe. Well, they were working on it. Apparently, he was working on this film for 3 years about.
Wow.
So I think a lot kind of just fell through. One thing that he did want to film, but they ran out of budget for, after Brooke left the car, he was going to have Art drive the car chasing her through the carnival. But they ran out of money, so they couldn't film that.
Dang.
They had to make cuts. It's still a good movie. I like this one. Way better than the first one.
Way better.
Yeah.
Way better. Much more engaging, much more interesting.
Yeah. So what we do get, though, in this chase scene is the classic slasher style where, like Jason, is walking through the woods. Art is walking slowly through the amusement park, and Brooke, who's running, trips over something. So he's able to catch her. She gets up and starts running again. She makes her way into the House of Horrors bathroom. While he gets her, Sienna hears Brooke yelling her name, and so Sienna goes to try to find her. As Art shows up into the bathroom, Brooke grabs a 2x4 to defend herself. Art has that table leg that he made metal bits in with earlier, and he starts using this spiked mace-like thing to slash at her. He also throws acid at her face, which starts melting and bubbling. He breaks her knee, rips open her chest, breaks the rib, and pulls the heart out while it's still beating. And he starts to eat it.
Which seems like a normal day for Art.
For Art, right. Yeah. Sienna is trying to run to find her, makes her way into the bathroom, and sees her dead on the floor. Art stands there just smiling at her, and it takes her a little bit to notice that he's there. She jumps. He gives her this creepy wave, and Sienna seems too scared to move, but once she sees that her brother is behind Art, she attacks Art, yelling for Jonathan to run.
And it's kind of amazing, given everything that Art does to all his other victims, that somehow Jonathan is untouched.
He was the lure to get her in.
Right, but so what?
He could have ripped off a leg. Yeah,
he could have done anything, and she would have no way to know anyway to begin with. But it's talk about plot armor. That kid is protected.
Yeah, you're not wrong. As Jonathan's running, he tries to hide. Art doubles back. Art had knocked Sienna unconscious when he goes to chase Jonathan. She wakes up and she finds Art's homemade weapon that he'd used on Brooke. Jonathan thinks the coast is clear. He starts running. Sienna sneaks up to him and uses his own weapon on him. She's able to stab him into his head, but it has little effect on Art. She's able to pull her brother away, and then they both run. In another room, Jonathan tells Sienna that he believes Art is scared of her and that he lured her here to this place because Art knows they're connected and she is the only one that is able to kill him. They make their way into this creepy church, and is Damien Leonie's favorite part of the battle. When Art comes in, he starts slashing at Jonathan. There's a point where Sienna puts her body on top of Jonathan and just starts taking slashes from this flail, which a detail I didn't know until this commentary was that the flail was made of braids of his previous victims.
No, there's no way we would have known that.
Yeah,
okay.
I didn't think, yeah. Eventually, she gets the strength to grab the weapon from Art and pulls it out of his hands and starts whipping him back in return. She grabs the metal spikes, which is part of the fence that was decorating the place, and stabs it right through his head.
This is great. Everyone's standing up and cheering at this point, right?
Yeah.
Whether you're watching it in your own living room or not.
Yeah, it was good. Thing is, she's killed him. She tries for Jonathan. Then Art jumps up to grab her. Jonathan jumps on him, and they're thrown to the ground. While Art is strangling Sienna, Jonathan noticed the mostly sawed-off double shotgun barrel. It's the shortest shotgun sawed-off that I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
It's like a clown toy, I guess.
Right. And it's strapped onto him.
Yeah. So he gets it. Art stops when he hears the click of it. He puts his hand up in a comical way, but Jonathan shoots him in the chest and he fights back. Jonathan struggles to wake up Sienna. She dreams maybe that her mom is trying to wake her up, and of course at that point, I don't think Sienna knew her mom was dead because she never made it back home. Sienna says that she thought they were never going to see her again. What appears to be Barbara says, "Oh, so Jonathan told you?" This confuses Sienna, and then she sees that Jonathan is still across the room, and who she's talking to is a maked-up Barbara that is maked up to look like the little pale girl. When she grabs Sienna's head, Sienna has visions about what happened to Barbara at this point. So somehow the power of good, when she touched the little pale girl, gave her visions to let her see what happened to her mother.
Yeah, their dad had some kind of psychic powers, so they both have it too.
Exactly. Somehow Jonathan is gone and Sienna gets up to go find him. When she does, he's lying on the ground with Art hovering over him. She tries to hit Art, but he grabs her by the throat to choke her. She's able to get out, fuck you, but then he pushes her back, and the floor beneath her is like a trap door. It breaks open, she falls into a pit. Art looks down in the pit and spits at her. Sienna draws a massive breath like she hasn't breathed in a long time or come back from the dead, and we see that there's another doorway on the floor below her. Art comes in, stabs her with her father's sword, pulls it out, and pushes her backwards in the doorway. Art drops the sword there on the floor and walks away, and we hear a voice saying, "We have a special guest with us today," and it's from the Clown Cafe host.
Which apparently the Clown Cafe is below the crypt, below the chapel.
So, according to the director, anybody that fell through this door would have ended up in their own personal level of hell, and since she's already tormented by this nightmare of the Clown Cafe, that is the hell that she landed in.
So, literally, there's an actual gateway to hell in the crypt beneath the chapel.
Yeah. Well, this chapel in this haunted house.
Yeah. How did this carnival manage to get an actual portal to hell? That's impressive.
Maybe it motivated someone to build there because they're like, oh, for some reason I want to build a house of horrors right here.
It just seems like the kind of thing that I would like to have some explanation for, but you
Sure.
know, maybe that's just me.
Yeah, no, I get it. When Sienna comes to, she's now in a glass of enclosed water tank like a magician would use on a stage show. The top is open, but as she tries to go, we realize her whole costume's still on her, but she's not wearing boots anymore, and the tentacle has her leg. The director would say she's not really there. She's in this pit, and this is all like another vision quest or a dream.
Okay.
Right.
I didn't understand that either.
Yeah, no, I got it. I mean, I like commentaries for this reason.
Right, yeah.
Explains a lot. And we hear the laughter of all the other kids. They all look like they're dead still, but they all seem reanimated. We see her as she's slowly running out of the breath, and it appears she dies. Jonathan wakes up, and Art is eating his hand. He starts to scream for Sienna, and it appears that some sort of magic in the storage starts to heal Sienna's wound. Only one wound. All of her scratches don't heal. The only wound that heals is the wound caused by the sword.
And we're seeing the sword glowing this whole time.
And the director said that the sword healed that wound because the force of good felt that she couldn't be killed by her own weapon, and it was not right for Art to use it against her. So it healed only that wound, bringing her back to life.
I figured it was like that it healed the wound it made, but...
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I thought it was weird because
it is.
He says when we see her again in the next movie, all those other scars will still be there. She will have physical scars and battle damage from it, and we will see what she is like after that fact.
And that scene where she's like resurrected or even transfigured, right, by this sword, I think it's really cool, and it's a very triumphant sort of scene and everything like that. At the same time, though, it felt just a little bit unjustified or like undeserved. Like she hasn't done anything really to earn that, I guess.
Sure.
It's just kind of destiny, you know.
Yeah. She finally gets the sword she needs to use. She stabs Art with the sword, which is supposed to be destined to kill him, and rips his head off.
Yeah, and I'm just saying that like...
Or cuts his head off.
I mean, like she hasn't suffered any more than necessarily some of the other victims, right? Like...
Yeah.
It would have been nice for her to go through more of an arc to develop that.
I see what you're saying, although I felt this battle scene in this amusement park went on for a long time.
I agree. I'm just saying, like, it led to this heroic transfiguration, but it just kind of happened because it did. But anyway, mainly I was thinking, man, I feel like her wings should have become real or something at that point. That would have been cool.
That would have been cool. She's striking at Art's neck, and Art, like, tilts his head, like, go ahead, chop my head off. And she does. She goes for Jonathan, and they both see the little pale girl sitting there, and the little pale girl takes Art's head and goes. The credits roll, but there's a lot more film to come. Did you keep watching?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. So we cut to the Miles County Psychiatric Hospital, where Victoria, the survivor from last year's event, is a patient. And we finally see Chris Jericho, who was teased in the opening credits, who is a professional wrestler that I grew up loving, and apparently is a big fan of the first movie, and reached out to the director and said, hey, I love this movie. If you ever have a role for me, I'd love to be in it. And so he's like, oh, I will totally write you one. So he made him the security guard at the psychiatric hospital. And the nurse who is there, who's just credited as nurse, is the same actress that played the Clown Cafe host.
Interesting.
Leah. So without any other name, I'm just going to refer to her as Leah. She's talking about how her day was crazy because she has to watch over Victoria, who is actually very pleasantly nice. She obeys any order she's given. But when you have to look at her face, it's hard to develop an appetite because Chris Jericho's character is trying to give her some dessert that his wife made for Halloween, like this zombie brain splatter thing. It looks all gross, but it's very sugary. Apparently, it tastes amazing. Apparently, Chris Jericho himself didn't like it because he's very healthy, and he's like he had to eat this sugary Jello type thing. So it was just really funny. When this conversation is going on, we're cutting back and forth to Victoria, who she first vomits and then starts bleeding a lot from her groin area. She's using the blood to write curse words all over the wall, but when she backs up from the wall, we see that there's a heart there, and it says Vicky plus art equals love.
It's odd for someone who's been mauled by him. But...
Right. Then she starts to give birth. She pulls out this massive umbilical cord, and then we see the nurse is going down the hall humming the tune to the Clown Cafe, which is funny because she's the host of the Clown Cafe. But she said,
that is funny.
But she said she got it stuck in her head because Victoria's been singing it the whole day.
Yeah.
She's walking down the hall. She hears Victoria yelling. When she opens a little sliding viewer on the door, she sees Victoria's holding something, but it's not until she opens the door and goes in that she sees Art the Clown's head is sitting there. She just gave birth to Art the Clown, but only his head. Victoria and Art both look up and are laughing at her.
This is very strange to me because the head still existed. Like his old head still existed. So why did they need to give birth to his head again? It's very strange.
So the original plan was to have it grow out of the back of her head. But then Damien Leonie saw the movie Malignant, which did that with their character while they were working on this movie. And they said they did a way better job than I would have done of it. So we need to rewrite this. So they, instead of having it grow out of the back of their head and pop out, Damien had Victoria give birth to Art's head. But yeah. And the last thing we see is that Victoria's one eye that she has left is turned yellow, just like the little Pale Girls. And the credits start again.
Yeah, man. What a movie, right? I feel like it combined all the sick, gory extremes from the first one with an actual movie.
I agree.
This time. Like an actual story with actual characters. And
yeah,
I was sure invested in it the whole time. I also noticed yet again we have a movie where there's kind of this anachronistic element where sort of there's things, it feels like there's things from different time periods kind of pulled in. And I mean, like the Clown Cafe thing feels very 60s or 70s or something almost and stuff like that. And I'm starting to feel like our era, like the 2020s, that the aesthetic for our time period for art is like anachronistic chaos. Like,
I do like when movies do this well.
I feel like a lot of movies nowadays have this sort of chaos that crosses all genres and all time periods. And I mean, there were a lot of things in this movie and others recently that I've seen that kind of made me think of like Everything Everywhere All at Once and that kind of vibe. And
yeah,
I think that's in the future, we're going to look back on the 2020s and say that's kind of the vibe.
I like a lot of the movies that are coming out lately, especially this year. Like, it's a good year for horror. Immaculate and First Omen were really good so far. And we got some not so great things like Tarot was not amazing, and Imaginary. My kids loved Imaginary. It wasn't a good movie, but I had fun taking my kids to it.
That was a movie. Yeah,
it was a movie.
That was definitely a movie.
It was a movie. All right. Well, thank you for being here.
Thank you
to record Terrifier 2. You're welcome. Next week on the podcast, Steven and I are going to cover the first Cloverfield movie, as we're doing a series for Halloween to cover all 3 Cloverfield movies. So for the next 2 weeks, we're going to put out 2 episodes, so don't miss that. And then we're going to wrap up that 4th episode with Late Night with the Devil. That'll be on Halloween Day. So love this October season. Hope you have a spooky, spectacular October. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Goodbye.